a presenter of wonderful television and the honorary consul of the Republic of Poland in Northern Ireland, Jerome Mullen. You've been working on recording the first program.
Yes, we have just finished.
How did it go?
I hope it went well, but we will see after 15th of December.
Yeah, that's the screening.
Yes.
Yeah. Isn't it a wonderful concept to have a bilingual program in Northern Ireland for the Polish community all over the world?
I think it's the highest time for it. I don't think we had enough representation in media, and I'm really, really excited about the project, and I can't wait to do another episode.
And you brought an important Polish time of the year into the studio,
yes,
Christmas
yes.
time.
You can still see our Christmas
Yes.
here in the studio, and yes, it's a very nice time to launch the show, I think, because everybody is in a festive spirit, everybody is happy, and our Christmas is a bit different, the way we celebrate it, so I hope I can open the door to Poland a little bit wider.
I think you're doing that magnificently. Jerome, where did the idea come from for a program?
Well, I suppose coming over here and talking to you, Rowan, was part of that particular bringing this about. And of course, when it was suggested, I thought it was a great opportunity to introduce the Polish community to an Irish audience here in Northern Ireland. And thank you very much indeed for bringing us.
It's a very great joy for me to have you here. But the notion of bilingual in the program, to speak in English and in Polish, that's an inclusive factor. You're caring for everyone and
Yes.
bringing everyone in.
Yes, we are going to try to introduce a little bit of Polish culture and language, and maybe hopefully my guests will be also successful people, people that can have interesting stories to tell that we can meet on the show, and also hopefully we'll be able to travel to Poland to show you a little bit of the country. But my main idea is, and it always was, and I've been dreaming about showing my country at its best for years, it's to kind of like show people that we really have so much in common, just to concentrate on similarities rather than differences.
What are those things that are in common?
Well, we have everything in common. We have in common our history that was very difficult for both of our countries at the same time, historically, so we really understand each other. We have very similar upbringing. We're very warm people, we're very religious people, very family-orientated people. We are people who like crack, music, good food. And I think we understand each other really well. So let's talk about that and let's discover Poland, because I find it so funny that we are 2 hours away and some people have never visited Poland, even though flights are so convenient. I just want to encourage them to try.
It's a very simple truth.
Yes.
2 hours away, there's no reason for us not to go to Poland.
Exactly.
Without a doubt. This is a typical fare, typical Polish cuisine.
Well, some representation of dishes that you can find on Polish Christmas table. You normally would have 12 dishes, but Margaret Kupia prepared this table for us for today, and she was just wanting to show borscht, red beetroot soup, and carp that will always appear. We don't have meat, you see. For Christmas we have fish. So that's carp, fried carp, but it can be done in various ways. And dumplings with wild mushrooms and cabbage and beautiful poppy seed cake. But that's really nothing on an average Polish house on the table. The table will have to be 4 times bigger because you have 12 dishes on it.
Yeah. How long have you been in Ireland yourself?
Since 2007.
7. And the process of you coming, what drove you forward? What drove you to Ireland? Why was Ireland attractive to you?
Oh, I never thought in my wildest dreams that I'm gonna live in Ireland, never ever. And then I met Sean, and I always call it power of Irish charm, because I took one look into his blue eyes and that was it.
It's you followed your heart here.
Yes.
Wow.
I gave up my teaching in Poland, I gave up my friends and family, not only mentioning that I'm the only child, so it was a very hard decision, but you know what, I don't regret it, and I think I'm half Irish.
Yeah, and you know what? The people back in Poland are only 2 hours away.
Exactly, and I see them every summer, so no, I love it. When I go to Poland in the summer, I miss Derry, believe or not.
Yeah.
It's amazing how easily you adapt. If people accept you, you adapt very easily.
Of course. Jerome, your mission on behalf of the Polish community, you're the first. in position. It's been a challenging role, and you've dealt with it magnificently. You're now into your second term.
My second term, yes. I was reappointed after the end of my first term, 5 years, in the summer just gone by. And yes, it has been a challenging 5 years. I've had to deal with many difficult issues, but I've had to deal also with many enjoyable and joyful things too as well. And of course, mixing with the Polish community has been a really an inspiring thing for me, and I've enjoyed that very much. I've learned an awful lot from the Polish community, and I see, as Ewelina has just spoken, many similarities between the Polish and Irish communities.
The thing about the schools, the Polish schools, they're hugely important here, because in assimilating the Irish culture, you're also preserving the culture of Poland.
Yeah, you know what? It's a very interesting thing, because I didn't realize. I was principal of Polish Abroad Saturday School for 2 years. Now I just act as a PR of the school due to my other work. I just can't do it. It's too much work. But basically, there are 44 Polish schools in UK, and we are the only nation that actually established schools. There is so many Russian people here, Ukraine, Lithuanian, African. They don't have schools. We do. So there is something that, you know, the purpose of having Polish school is not that we want to build little Poland here. It's for children that are born here. We don't want them to forget the language and their identity, but they're doing very, very well in Irish schools. They just come on Saturday for a few hours, and they are taught even what Christmas Polish style is about, and about our main traditions, because if that dies in them when they go back to Poland in 20 years, that will be a tragedy. I can only tell you one little very short story what happened to us last summer in Łeba, which is Polish beautiful seaside. There was a guy about 20 years old on English number plate, crying in the car, spotted our car with Northern Irish number plate, came up to my husband and said, "What does that mean? What this sign means? I can't get out from the place." The car park was closed, and it said "Objazd," which means diversion. He couldn't read it. He was Polish. And I said, "You have never attended Polish school?" He said, "There was no one in my small town in England." He forgot his own language. So that's what we're trying to
of course, of course. There is something about Polish people that, there are many things, but you strike me, your characteristics, as far as I'm concerned, is friendship, you're communicative, your folk work hard, you're colourful, and you're musical, and you're marvellously attractive as a people.
People say that we're a very emotional nation, and I think it's typical for Eastern Europeans that what we have in our heart, we say, and sometimes we can maybe come across as too forward. Because, you know, we don't...
The Irish, dear girl, are like that as well.
Yes.
For good's sake. That's what we're at all the time.
That's why I say...
we wear our hearts on our sleeve, you see. And
that's why I get on with Irish girls so well. I don't really find them very different, apart from the fact that they have far nicer hair and bigger eyes. They say, "But you are so tall, and you have... You know, you're more sporty and you are so tall," so it's every nation has something.
But they're probably a little axe to grind there, because they know that you stole Sean from them.
Probably, yes.
See,
probably they are a bit angry.
Bit jealous there, there.
But I know many that stole our men. You know? Even in the village of Eglinton where I live, there is a couple that the guy is from Poland, and I say to her, "How dare you stealing our man?" You know. they return the favor.
It's a girl's thing.
Yes.
Without a doubt. Jerome, the success of the Polish community here in Newry, and we're broadcasting from Newry, it's well established now.
Very well established, yes. I mean, there is a sizable population that are living here, and indeed, for the most part, they are doing very, very well indeed in this community. There's always the cases, basically, that have some difficulties in living and working here, but by and large, it's been a very good story as far as the Polish community is concerned. Not just in Newry, Rome, but also in other parts of Northern Ireland as well.
You see, we fell in love with a Polish man here some years back.
Okay.
He was a pope.
Yes, of course.
And you're going to have a saint this time next year. You will have a Polish saint.
Yes, and we really truly believe he is a saint. And I mentioned in my show that even for people who are not religious, he's just a beautiful historical figure, beautiful poet, actor, and writer that can be admired for that.
also has a most wonderful sense of humour when he was alive.
yes.
He came to visit us in Ireland, and I was part of the press corps that went to see him
Oh, you were
in the
very
convent at Cabra.
Yes.
And he was late arriving, and we all had our press releases.
Yes.
And he came out onto the balcony of the big hall we were gathered in, and he said, "I apologize, I am late." And he stood and his back. He said, "You have my words. You take and read." Whereupon the entire press corps started singing, "For he's a jolly good fellow, he's a jolly good fellow, he's a jolly good fellow, and so say all of us." And on the dying strains of "For he's a jolly good fellow," he nodded and he said, "I see you have good informations."
Yes.
And next year he is going to be, of course, canonized.
He's going to be a
Yes.
saint next year.
And hopefully here in Uri and in maybe in other places there'll be a big celebration.
Oh, I would
Yeah.
say
Basically
yeah.
of that,
Yeah.
and rightly so, because
Absolutely.
not alone was he the first Polish Pope, he was also a very significant person
Yeah.
in the ending of the Iron Curtain and
yeah,
the communism,
the communist rule, yeah.
and all of that, and he made a huge contribution. So he's certainly a wonderful ambassador
Yeah,
for
he is, of
Poland
course.
and for
He is,
the
of
world.
course.
He kept our spirit up. We wouldn't be in EU if it wasn't for him.
Yeah, really.
He kept us fighting.
Yeah. What was the moment of guarantee that you would be in the EU? How did it
The talks of
happen?
round table whenever they invited Wałęsa for negotiations, and then it went from there. It was in '83, I was P1, I think, and then it started to lift a little bit, but really you could notice the difference in '90s. I remember I had to learn obligatory Russian right until second class of grammar school, and then I could only learn English. It wasn't allowed. It was
No.
we were living in a bubble, but it's very hard to explain. We were happy,
Yeah.
You didn't really feel it,
No.
I don't remember hard times.
No.
I don't remember because, my parents weren't involved maybe in fights or anything like it. But all that was missing was we wanted to see other countries and we weren't allowed. My parents weren't allowed passport. You left in this world that was beautiful. You loved your country, but still would be nice to see something else. And that's the biggest change. The change that we can come, for example, here freely and decide where we want to live, because we all should be free and should be able to decide where we want to live.
What a wise woman you are. A beautiful, wise woman.
I don't think I am. I think I'm still in the process of wising up, but
Well,
we'll see.
when you're 92, you probably will still be in the process
I don't think I'll be alive.
of wising up. Well, why wouldn't you be?
In the
We all live
sophisticated
longer.
world, you think?
We all live longer.
Well,
Yeah.
I don't know if I want to be 92, but maybe 80 will be enough.
80 be okay. Go well. Thank you for coming, the pair of you. And lots of good fortune with the program.
Thank you so much.
I know it's going to be a huge success.
Thank you for
Ewelina
your
and
support.
Jerome, thank you so much for coming
Thank
to
you
the
very much,
studio.
Jerome.
And really be happy and be very successful. Take care.
Yeah.
Take care.